I recently made a discovery that I know a lot of people have made, and I'm really late to the game, but I've used all kinds of attachments to watch videos from laptops and iPads to projectors and screens and all that kind of stuff. But I never really thought about the fact that T-Mobile offers unlimited YouTube watching without any count towards your data plan. They call it binge, YouTube binge. So you can binge on YouTube videos all you want to, and it has no impact on your data plan for your phone, which is a really cool feature in my opinion, because I like to watch old archived videos of various leadership training tools. So last night, for an example, I was watching Earl Nightingale from Nightingale Conan and some old Tony Robbins when he looked like he was a teenager that was way too big for his body and his clothes didn't fit. Even a TED Talk where Al Gore was in the audience. I mean, some old stuff, which is really some good stuff sometimes, but just staring at it on your phone gets a little old. So recently I bought a device for the trade shows that we've done that allows me to plug my phone directly into an HDMI cable and into my big screen TV at home, which I'd never done before. And it became one of my new favorite ways to consume video, because I don't have to worry about holding the phone and staring at that one little space. I can kind of watch it out of the corner of my eye and mostly listen. And I was able to do that last night while I was moving video files and stuff around. Why do I tell you that? Because I know there are some people who watch this program, and this may be the extent of the personal growth or leadership training that you get. There are some people who watch this, and maybe you're watching for the first time and you're thinking, what is this guy all about? Why does he do this? What do I expect to get out of this? And here's what I know for a certain. I have not been, other than in my own understanding, obedient to the call that I feel like I was told in my spirit to do this project. I've not been real clear on what my goals are for this project, who it's supposed to reach, what is the specific target, how will I know that there has been success toward that goal. And as I'm coming into 2018, as we all do, I'm looking at 2017 and I'm asking about the measurement of success. How many projects did I start and finish? How many did I finish with the same passion that I started with? How many of them reached the objectives to begin with? How many of them just carried on forever, but they're not yet quite done? Or how many of them are actually designed to never be done, but you have to continue to make progress toward them? See, one of the things Earl Nightingale said, and this was from back in the 50s and 60s that this particular recording was done, I presume based on the look of it. But he said, a lot of people aren't sure what success is. But success really is nothing more than constant progress in a direction you've already defined. Constant progress in a direction you've already defined. So if you know what your goal is and you're constantly moving toward that goal, that progress, that constant progress is success. You're successfully achieving that goal. Now, that goal may be really small in the eyes of everyone else in the world, but to you, it's gigantic. Maybe it's to lose 20 pounds. Maybe it's to stop smoking. Maybe it's to build another stream of income in your life. Maybe it's to earn your first million. Whatever that goal is, whatever it is that you've set in front of yourself, when you reach the point that you're no longer seeing progress toward that goal, that's when you lose the energy to achieve it. When you reach the place where you no longer have passion, whether it's finished or not, that's when you lose the energy to achieve it. When you feel like you haven't made any progress at all toward it, and what you wrote down, you can't see any marks in it to say, for an example, I'm going to sell. So one of my many targets over the next year, one of the many goals, is the USB drive that goes along with our 5 battle strategies and our 5 battle positions, the Victorious Warrior training for marriages, which will help couples who are struggling with addiction. That includes Karen's book and my book together. It includes the video training for my book and the video training for her book. It includes the audio book for her book and for my book. And it includes the combined PDF file that has the book, the audio, the video, and the scriptural reference links embedded in it. That one document alone is worth a couple $100. but the whole set on one USB drive is only $297. I think over the course of the next year, I could sell 1,000 of those. Now, that would make a marked difference in our financial life, because that would be our first significant six-figure year if we pulled that off. But it would also entail that I get all of the projects done to have all of the USB drives, and the one that I've already sold is deadline for December the 18th. That's the delivery date I told them. I've got to be able to get everything done up to that point. And so I'm pushing passionately. I have a lot of passion around that. Unfortunately, as I have a lot of passion around that one project, other things are falling the wayside. But I've got to be able to say, in order to reach 1,000 sold by the end of the year, I need to say I can sell 83 in a month, or 25 in a week, or 7 a day. Well, what does it take to sell 7 a day? Well, if that's picking up the phone and dialing until somebody says yes 7 times, every no is another step toward a yes, because 1 in 10 are going to say yes, or 1 in 25 are going to say yes, or 1 in 100 are going to say yes. And I don't know those stats yet, but I do know that for every time I don't make a phone call, there's no chance at a yes, right? If your goals are stated for the end of the year, that's awesome. But what do you need to do in the next 90 days to move toward that goal? Even if there's no real marked difference between now and the end of 90 days, other than to say I am moving closer to that goal being achieved than I was, what is that marked difference? What will it look like? How could you target that in the next 90 days, in the next 25 days, in the next 10 days, in the next week? What would you do to move toward that goal tomorrow if you honestly felt like it could be achieved? So there are 3 questions that I put on the screen. These are really basic, really simple. They're actually a request for you to participate with this video. The questions are right there on the screen. They're really, really simple. They're just statements even. They're not even questions. But it's a pop quiz to ask you, what have you decided to do with your life in 2018? Now, I would encourage you in the major areas of your life, in your career, in your education, in your own personal growth and development, in your relationships, in your spiritual walk, to ask these same questions, to read these 3 statements and try to place an answer for your own life in all of these areas. Now, there's a really great product called BYE, or Best Year Ever, that comes from Michael Hyatt. That's a really good tool for doing the same kind of assessment. He goes a lot more into it. I'll make that available to you if you're an email subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, go to Excellent Life Leadership and subscribe on that page so that we can add you to the mailing list and make sure that you get the offer from Michael Hyatt. I think it's a special priced offer for now and over the next 10 days or something. But even if you don't do that, I want you to be serious with yourself. First, set that goal for the end of the year. Look at, and you got plenty of time now. You got 2.5 more weeks before the year is over. Take the time now to just ask yourself, what's at least one goal in each major area that I want to achieve? If I break that goal down over the course of the year, especially if it's something you can measure by numeric value, I want to lose a certain number of pounds, I want to gain a certain number of income, I want to sell a certain number of a product, I want to finish my book, which is X number of chapters long, whatever that goal is, divide it by 12, then multiply that number by 3, and you'll know what your goal is, what you need to accomplish toward that goal in the next 90 days. If it's a 12-step process, if it's a 3-step process, then divide it by 12, figure out how you would break it down, and then look at the daily effort needed toward that goal to be able to accomplish it by the end of the year. And then ask yourself this question now. This is a trick question. This is the question we used to use when I was 23, 24 years old. The very first sales training that I ever went through was for a fitness center called The Q. It was a gym called The Q. I think eventually they were absorbed by Lifetime Fitness or something like that. It was a pretty hefty membership. But at the first of the year, man, those sales reps were rocking and rolling. And by March, many of them were broke. Why? Well, because in the fitness arena, a lot of people, they want to come in and sign up in January because they feel like they need to make some changes. They want to make some difference. And so it's really easy to sell someone who's motivated to change already. It's really hard to sell someone who's just a tire kicker who really wants the results of the change, but they're not really driven to do what's needed to get them. So the final part of the little pop quiz for today, figure out what your goal is for the year. That's number one. Number two is break that goal down over the course of the year and figure out what it needs to look like in 90 days to know that you're making progress. If that's what success is, making progress toward a stated goal, then you need to be making progress. And you're going to have to be able to see at the end of day 1 and day 12 and day 47 and day 92 and day 183 that you are making progress toward your goal. Then you will feel successful and your emotions toward that goal will change. So number 3 is the key motivator. It's the question we used to ask at the gym all the time. Why are you doing this in the first place? What will be better in your life when you've accomplished this goal? Because that target is important to you for a reason. What is the goal that you're stating, and why do you care if it's achieved or not? If you can understand emotionally and internally why the achievement of that goal is so important to you, you will continue to maintain the motivation necessary to pull it off. When you reach the point where you're like, it'd be nice to have, but I'm not really that passionate about it, chances are you're not going to accomplish that goal. You're not going to finish it. And why will you not finish it? Because you're not motivated. And motivation is what drives you to do what is unreasonable. Do you think a gazelle runs as fast on a daily basis for no reason as it does when it's being chased by a cat? No. But it runs wild and crazy, full out, bone-breaking speeds, cutting corners, turning left and right, making sharp turns and turnarounds and U-turns and leaping 10 feet in the air. Why? Because that jaguar is going to eat it. That's why. That's passion. That's motivation. When you know why you're doing something, you've got a lot more drive to see it happen. What's going to be better in your life? What bad thing will you be avoiding? What good thing will you be rewarded by if you can reach the goal that you have established for yourself? Now, there's all kinds of stuff out there on setting SMART goals. There's all kinds of targeted goals and ways to attach your emotions to them. I don't care which method you use. But if you will look at your goal on an annual basis, break it down on a 90-day basis, break that down on a weekly or daily basis, you'll be able to look at the end of the day today and say, yep, I mean, no progress toward my goal, but tomorrow I'll double up and I'll make today's progress and tomorrow's progress. It's best if you make today's progress and tomorrow's progress and the next day's progress today. Because then you'll be more motivated and you'll be ahead of your goal in the first 90 days. And then you could even double your goal within the next 90 days if you stay motivated and if you can see a clear reason for why you're doing it and see a clear path to making it happen. I know we're almost a month away from the end of the year. But just like planting trees, planting goals, the best time was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Today. So do it today. In the comments below, I'm going to challenge you just to write out one goal that you have for the course of the year, how you will know at the end of 90 days that you're making progress toward it, and what will be better in your life if you reach the end of the year and you've achieved it. Love to hear your feedback. Over the next couple of weeks, I will be announcing some changes. I'm still waiting for a complete spiritual download on what those are going to be. I don't know what the direction of this program is going to be, if it's going to be stay the course and do exactly the same thing, if it's all going to move to one proprietary channel and be available by subscription only, if I'm going to change the entire nature from leadership to spiritual growth. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if it'd be focused on men or focused on teenage boys or focused on people with 18 toenails. I don't know the answer to that question. But stay tuned, because it might impact you in a great way. We'll see what God says. I'm J Loren Norris, and you've been watching Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.